Quasar had the hots for the woman standing beside her. "She is not my detective," Stonewall said, copying an attitude that Quasar chose to ignore. "You want her to be, though. I know the two of you haven't had an official date yet, but you've met up with her a number of mornings at that cafe on Monroe Street for coffee and donuts. You also met with her at Shady Red's a couple of times to grab a few beers." Stonewall's frown deepened. "You know too damn much." "Not really, which is why I want to know who that woman is. The one in the dark slacks and leather blazer." "I heard your description the first time," Stonewall snapped. "Well?" Stonewall took a huge gulp of water from the bottle he was holding, then swiped across his mouth with the back of his hand. Quasar knew his friend was trying to annoy the hell out of him by deliberately taking his time in answering. Finally, he said, "Her name is Dr. Randi Fuller." Quasar lifted a brow. "The psychic investigator?" "Yes, the psychic investigator. I admit I was a skeptic at first, but she's made a believer out of me. She led everyone to this place, and just in time. I don't want to think what would have happened if no one had taken Dr. Fuller seriously." Quasar didn't want to think what would have happened either. "Well, let me get back over to Stryker," Stonewall said. "He's about done giving his statement to the feds now." When Stonewall walked off, Quasar returned his full attention to Dr. Randi Fuller. Randi. He liked that name and thought it was different. Tired of standing, he decided to crouch down a minute, and when he did so, as if the movement carried a sound that floated through the air, Dr. Fuller turned and looked over at him. The moment their gazes connected, desire with an intensity he'd never felt before twisted Quasar's gut, and primitive male awareness filled his every pore. A throbbing need suddenly consumed his senses, and there was an unmistakable pounding in his crotch. Crackles of sexual energy passed between them, hot, raw, and relentlessly carnal. Even across the distance, he swore he could hear the intimate sound of her breathing, the fast pounding of her heart. He was convinced he could even smell her. It was an arousing scent of jasmine and some other entrancing fragrance. Shit! What the hell was happening? With him, between them. She must have been trying to figure out that very same thing, because she suddenly broke eye contact with him. He used that time to suck in a deep breath and to force his aroused state under control. The strange connection they'd just shared was a jolt of sexual energy that rocked him to the bone. Nothing like that had ever happened to him before. Moments later, when she glanced back his way and their gazes reconnected, his mind conjured up a number of erotic images, like him burying his face in the hollow of her throat, undressing her, making hard-ass love to her with those long legs wrapped tight around his waist. His penis throbbed at the thought of pounding into her, hammering hard, then harder. When Detective Ingram said something to get her attention, she looked away from him again. But he continued to stare at her, to will her to glance back. Although maybe it was a good thing she didn't. He was so damn aroused he could probably come just from all this sexual chemistry surging between them. Explosive, fiery as hell. The I need to get fucked kind. "We need to talk to Stryker," Stonewall said, returning, interrupting Quasar's heated thoughts. Annoyed, he glanced up at Stonewall. "Why?" "He's about to make some crazy decisions about Margot Connolly." Frustrated, Quasar ran his fingers through his hair. "And you know this how?" "Because I do. He's crazy about her and is fighting it." "Not my business, and neither is it yours," Quasar said, standing back up and pulling his shirt down past his pants zipper. "It will be our business if we're the ones who have to put up with his crappy-ass mood." Well, hell. Quasar figured Stonewall was right about that. "Okay, so what's the game plan?" As Stonewall began talking, Quasar glanced over to where Randi Fuller had been standing. Damn it.